wish I knew that to pass an English exam, the first thing I needed to do was to
Do sample test questions. Make a list of vocabulary. Learn my stock phrases. Learn the meaning of a question before I answer it. Write a study timetable.
A timetable is a really useful tool when it comes to passing exams, and here's why you need a study timetable. A timetable provides a framework to the revision you need to do. It simplifies everything you need to do for the revision. It also helps you identify those areas that you need to work more on. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that you really need to write a study timetable. I'm going to give you some tips that will help you write a good study timetable. Start by noting the days that you'll be having the exams, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, or even Friday, and note the specific time that you'll be having the exam, whether it's in the morning, at noon, or in the afternoon. After you've noted the days, I want you to make a list of every aspect of the language that you think might be tested, whether it's grammar, essay, or literature. Like for instance, in grammar, the areas that you might be tested on include the spelling errors, past, present, and future tense, verbs, nouns, and everything grammar. Once you've written the list on areas on which you might be tested, the areas that you're confident with, you can just peruse or just go through them quickly just to remind yourself. Every other remaining aspect that you need to study on should be divided between the time you have. So let's say you have a day to your exam. You're gonna allocate every aspect an hour each, and make sure you include the breaks because you'll need it. Apart from helping you study for your exams, a timetable is also a good way to help you organize your everyday study. The second study tip I wish I knew earlier was to learn the meaning of a question before I answer it. Listen, it doesn't matter how good your answer is if you misunderstood the question. So it's really important that you know what the question requires of you before you start giving your answer or throwing your answers like I used to do. So if a question says, explain the difference between the following words, we have already and we have keyboard. The question wants you to state what type each word is and then explain the difference between the two types of words. Already is a simple word. Keyboard is a compound word. What is the difference between a compound word and a simple word? Compound word is a word that consists of two or more words combined to form one word. Key and board. Keyboard. A simple word is a word that has one or more syllables. If a question states, give two examples of verbs in their continuous form, you don't just go stating the verbs. Of course, it wants verbs, but you have to give the verb in their continuous form. So you can't just say eat, you have to say eating or talking. Ensure you know what the question wants from you. If a question wants you to just state, then state. But before you answer any question, just know what the question requires from you. That tip I wish I knew earlier is to learn my stock phrases. Learn your stock phrases. Stock phrases are phrases that you may need to use in an examination. One thing I want you to know is that exams is about impressing the markers, and nothing does that more than the accurate use of a good phrase, especially during an oral test. Phrases such as, can you repeat that please? Or could you give me a moment to think? Could really make good impressions. In your written tests, linking phrases such as, on the other hand, under certain circumstances, in other words, can be very useful. So ensure you're loaded with good phrases before you go for that exam. The fourth tip I wish I knew earlier is make a list of vocabulary. And this is a really strong study tip. Having a wide vocabulary of words not only help you understand the question being asked, but also make for impressive responses. Taking a look or going through your previous test papers can help you know which vocabularies examiners choose to use and the words that look impressive in your answers. For instance, if an examiner wants you to differentiate between eating and eat, some of the words you can use to differentiate include, it is a verb in its present tense, while eating is a verb in its present continuous tense, or it is a verb in its present tense, whereas eating is a verb in its present continuous tense. If the examiner wants you to state the similarities, you can use words like both this and that. Ensure you have a wide vocabulary of words. The fifth and final tip to passing or studying for an exam that I wish I knew way earlier, and this by far is the most important tip: do sample test questions. Once you feel that you're ready and set for the exam, don't just sit and wait for the exam. Try doing some sample test papers. This will help you familiarize with how and what questions are being asked. It will also help ease the tension that you feel when you see questions. Sample test papers can also predict on what to expect on the exam paper. These are some of the few tips that can help you study for an English exam, and if well implemented, can really give good results. Just a bonus tip: when you have the question paper, the first thing you need to do is start with the easy questions first. This will not only motivate you but also give you enough time to think for answers for more difficult questions. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you're an English learner who is interested in improving your English skills, I highly recommend that you subscribe to the channel so you don't get to miss any of my upcoming English videos. And if you find the video helpful, kindly give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below to help the video reach a wider audience. And with that being said, let's catch up in my next video. Bye.